If you take a look at example number 1, look at this form here. We have a y equals x squared plus 3x minus 5 and x minus y equals negative 3. That's our first example. And we were able to get the solutions 2, 5, negative 4, and negative 1. Now, I want you to compare that with the next example. So our example number 2 has, they have slightly different presentations because in this case we have both of our linear and quadratic equation in the form y equals. So here we have y equals x squared minus 4x plus 6, and here we have the linear equation is y equals x plus 2, while on the first example the linear equation is x minus y equals minus 3. Now notice how we solve this a little bit differently. Actually, they're the same except on how we get started. So instead of doing because the first example look a little bit different, here we simply look at the both of them y equals, so we just get all those that are after the equal sign and make them equal to each other. And that's how we end up with our single equation. So I would copy the quadratic value here, which is x squared minus 4x plus 6. That's one side of my equation. And the other side would be x plus 2. Now remember how we said that if we want to move something, a term, from one side of the equation, we simply put the opposite sign of it when we move it on the other side. So I want my positive x and my positive 2 over to the left so that I can have a 0 to the right. And when I have that form, then I could factor it out. So this will turn into x squared minus 4x plus 6. And I'm going to copy my minus x over there, becoming a minus because there's a positive on the other side. And I would have a minus 2 on the left equals 0. Now that I have everything on one side of the equation, I will combine like terms. So I have x squared here, again writing the highest degree term, and my similar terms are negative 4x, and I also might have my minus x. So I'm going to end up with a 5x because minus 4 and minus 1 would be a minus 5. And I have a 6 minus 2 that will give me a 4 and equals 0. And at this point, again, we factor this out. So using your factoring calculator for now, we have x minus 1 and x minus 4 as our factors. So this is the factored form. And that gives me x equals, the opposite of minus 1 is positive 1. And that is because when you equate them to 0, you could actually manipulate this factored form such that x minus 1 equals to 0 and x minus 4 equals to 0. So I could just directly get the opposite of those values. And I have an x equals 1 and an x equals 4 that I will use to substitute again into my linear equation because it's easier to work with. I will substitute this x equals 1, x equals 4 to get the y values that I am trying to look for. So let me point out here. So I have y equals, x is now 1, so 1 plus 2. And so my y here is equals to 3. So my first answer would be x is 1 and y is 3. 1, 3 is my first answer. And here, again, using that linear equation, so I have y equals, x is equals to 4 plus 2. So my next y is equals to 6. So the other answers compose of 4, 6. And That gives me the solution, which I am simply going to box. And here are my solutions. So this is a linear quadratic system composed of two solutions. So let me see. My third example will be using the vertex form, and I will show that in my next video.